This is Double Tap. This is a podcast dedicated to everything and anything in the fighting game community. I'm, of course, one of your hosts for this week's episode. I'm Crash, and with me, I've got Meza, and I've got Static G in the building. What's going on, gents?
Hello.
Hello.
I mean, I didn't answer your question, but yeah.
Not answering it.
We'll find out. We'll find out how we're feeling in a quick second because we got some things to get into. But before that, want a quick shout out, guys. If you're enjoying the show, if you've liked the content, if you've been listening and you haven't already, make sure to follow us on our social media platforms at Double Tap FGC on all social media platforms, really. Your TikToks, your Blue Skies, your X's. And also on YouTube, where we post up a video version of this podcast right there with some nice visual additions to our conversations and all there to enjoy and check out the clips as well. But let's get started with it because we're going back in time to go forward, I guess. Virtua Fighter, kind of a game we haven't really talked about because there's nothing that's gone on with this game that has an insane legacy to it. For the younger cats that don't know what Virtua Fighter is, it is triple OG when it comes to fighting games, and it predates Tekken in terms of the 3D games as well. It was a pioneer for a lot of things, and it's kept up. It's kept this thing. We've heard the inklings that Sega's doing something. We've seen even a teaser. I think it might have even been earlier this year, actually, for something Virtua Fighter related, something esports related at least. But now we actually got a full announcement. Virtua Fighter 5 Revo has been announced. It's a PC port. There hasn't been a PC port for Virtua Fighter in for the PC specifically released for it in 20 something years, which is kind of nuts. So we get Virtua Fighter 5 Revo. Not 6, what a lot of us were kind of assuming was going to happen, what a lot of us was hoping for, really, to be perfectly honest, if you're going to come out. No, they're going to take 5 and they're going to patch it. They're going to give it the good old Street Fighter 2 treatment and give it a new version with a new name, because the last one was Final Showdown, which is a goddamn lie, because now we have Revo, which is really, this is really extra version online. I don't know what it actually does stand for.
Did you say
something like that? Yeah, maybe. But so they released a video out for it. And funny enough, once I saw this, I was like, oh, hey, when we're checking out for the show and we're kind of getting things a little bit ready, it's like, let me take a peek at an episode when we covered Final Showdown. Final Showdown came out in 2012.
Oh yeah.
We weren't even doing this show at that point.
Well, let me see.
We weren't.
So it was 5 was called Final Showdown, right?
No, it was 5. Then there was a version after 5 that was then called Final Showdown.
God, man, if I'm going back in my brain, the first time I remember it was demoed for PS3 at Target.
Yeah,
I remember playing it, and I was still at that time, I was giving it praise for how good it looked.
No,
it looked great actually.
Yeah,
this time.
And I'm like, Akira, you've changed since Sega Saturn, my dude. And then I remember the last time I remember seeing it being competed was maybe one of those NorCal regionals or SoCal regionals where Hi Am Nasty beat Chris G. But again, that was probably one of the ones where it had some sort of huge following.
Yeah,
that was
it still definitely gets competed. It was at Evo last year.
By the way, that was, of course, that was a competition for Marvel 3, but I saw Virtua Fighter on the side, and I was actually just watching, also procrastinating from homework. So yeah.
Nice.
2012,
yeah,
jeez.
In 2012 days. So this is basically a remastering that they're going to be releasing. As you said, it looked good then. Well, guess what? It's going to be getting the 4K graphic upgrade, models, stages, cinematics, all that stuff. They're adding rollback netcode. Hey,
yes.
Kind of a plus. You kind of need that in this day and age. Kind of the go-to. No rollback, no play, right? Balance adjustments, which the game has not had in 13 years. There's been no patches. There's been nothing. This game has been out. And then online modes, including tournament mode, leagues, supporting up to 16 players, this, that, and the other. So it's an overhaul for the game, and it's just to kind of bring it to, I guess, more or less modern standards. No crossplay. There's been no, to my knowledge, there hasn't been any confirmation of crossplay at this point, but rollback's been the big component that they're pushing. And we don't even know if this is coming out for Xbox either, by the way. This is PC. And for those that have it on PlayStation, Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown is going to get a version 2.0 patch, which really means they're just going to do whatever this PC port has. They're gonna more than likely push it. Why not just call that like the Revo patch?
Isn't it in Yakuza as well?
Yeah, I think it's in Yakuza. Like Yakuza has a bunch of games like Shenmue and shit in it that you can actually sit down and play. I wouldn't be surprised if Virtua Fighter was another one.
I'd be like, hey, why haven't you beaten that game yet? Playing another game inside the game.
trying to get number one with leaderboards within the game. That's next level.
Did they mention that Sega AM2 is not developing this with them? Because it's not in their developers at all, or even under the tag for the Revo one. So I wonder if there's gonna be some differences.
I would hope not. I'd find it really weird if they, but I still already find it weird that it's still being called Final Showdown instead of it being like a Revo patch to turn it into that game.
I don't think they could do Virtua Fighter 6 yet. I think maybe that's down the pipeline. They don't want to throw it away.
Here's something that's interesting. I mean, this game is coming out on the back end of Tekken's first season. It's kind of good to gauge interest if people still want to play a 3D game, especially since Tekken's not being really that popular. I mean, it could be popular, but what I'm saying is that it's losing popularity. It's losing its player base, and people want to play 3D games. I mean, look at how Smash is handling like the platformers games. And yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but here's the thing though. Like, what's Virtua Fighter like known for?
Jeffrey
besides his
destroying
legacy.
your face. No, sorry.
Jeffrey does destroy your face. That's definitely one. Kage will jump off the wall and scoop you. The monkey girl. The monkey girl, what is it, Elise or something? She's annoying. Anyway, Vanessa's the shit. Yeah. Regardless,
ring outs,
of course, yeah, ring outs, yeah, they have things like that, right? So there's some unique mechanics to it there.
It's supposed to be the realism of
it's the fundamentals of this game. Even though, don't get me wrong, the community is very welcoming. Like if you come like to any tournament and you be like, yo, I'm trying to play, like, they'll open arms. Like they'll be like, yeah, sure, come sit down, play, whatever. Right? We need as many of you as we can get. Come, please. But it is not like beginner friendly. Like mashing in this game will fuck you up. Like I know you were just talking about Tekken. Tekken has a lot of things that help kind of like bridge the gap from even a beginner to kind of a intermediate level type player. Like there are things there that'll kind of, that can handicap them. That shit does not fly in Virtua Fighter.
Well,
like
I'll say
at
this.
all.
As someone who plays Virtua Fighter, I can wholeheartedly say the tutorial is actually not that bad. It's actually pretty hands-on. It's pretty clean. It's not super long. It's easy to understand. But yes, if we're talking about like competing or playing a little bit at a mid to high level, yes, it's going to be very difficult to adjust and figure things out.
And it's like kind of like it's tough to bring people in because like you said earlier, the realism are like, don't get me wrong, like we recognize the characters as we saw them because we grew up with them. We've seen the different variations of them as they've gone on, right? But like they're not anything too crazy, right? They're nothing short of like even less exaggerated DOA characters, to be perfectly honest. They look great, but they're not like anything spectacular. There's no pizzazz to it that like gets someone be like, yo, that's a cool character. I want to play that game because they saw Brian Fury or Jin or Kazuya or whatever, right? I just named off like mostly Mishimas, but you know what I mean? Like there's nothing that like is pulling you there. And then when you're like starting out, especially if you're like just even seeing beginner stuff, like the gameplay is like slower. It isn't like it isn't until you get it to that high level do you really see the flow of it and you actually really go like, oh shit, like okay, the sauce is there, but you have to go through so much just to get to that point. Like it is unapologetically about the fundamentals, and until you build that up, like the game doesn't really unlock for you.
I feel like it's kind of like DOA,
which is difficult.
I feel like
it's difficult in this day and age for that.
Yeah. I feel like it's kind of like Dead or Alive. DOA has like this pacing to it where it starts off very like if you're playing randomly with random people, yeah, it could be really hella fast because people are just kind of mashing. You're getting these like really long strings, but at a higher or mid to high level, you start seeing people slow down. They're going for one strike, sidestepping, and then when they get something, they're kind of going all out and then make you guess. But Virtua Fighter is kind of like that too, where you have to make those decisions on the fly, but it's slower.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like I said, less forgiving too. Just less forgiving.
So I was at a local once, not local, it was a friend's house. I don't know if you know Hubs from the area. He's also known as Gaming Vision Network, GVN, one of the a streamer for Virtua Fighter 5. And I remember doing the missions, and it was for like Akira. Cause he's like, yeah, he has a 1-frame punch and a this and that. I'm like, all right, well, I'll give it a shot. And then it was like done before I knew it. I'm like, oh, I need to do homework. Like I can't just do the moves and the combos. I'm like, I need to do work. This is oof. But I do remember playing it from Virtua Fighter 2 days, and then like what was the other one? It had Virtua Fighter 2 Kids, I think it was. Like
Virtua Fighter Kids for Sega Saturn.
Yeah, that game was so
I used
cool.
to own it.
Anyway, yeah. Oh, dang,
I know it's random, but I owned it too. So
that's hella random. I didn't even know that existed.
But I mean, if you're a DOA player, you don't have DOA right now. You also have access, or you had access to. In 5 last round, was it Jackie, Pi, Akira, Sarah?
So Jackie and Sarah.
Why do you think? Shout outs to Big Dame. Why do you think Big Dame would be like, who wants to play my Pi? And I'm like, come on, dog.
I remember. Yeah. But yeah, so it's kind of a trip to see this game come back. This is clearly a, like you said earlier, Static. This is a temperature check. Yeah. To be honest, like if Sega wants to go ahead and put down the effort to invest into a Virtua Fighter 6, which needs to come out strong, and also essentially they need to address some of the but address some of the shortcomings it's going to have when it comes to trying to grab a modern audience when it comes to the actual gameplay. Which, do you want to do that, or do you want, because they're clearly fine with leaving the game as is for 13 years, let it rock, let the community do its thing, and still be fundamentally what it was designed to be? Or are they looking to maybe change that up and, for one, open up the market, but then potentially create a product that doesn't live up to the name, right? And then kind of alienate the hardcore that kind of keep it going for those 13 plus years, right, since the last version came out. They're clearly just getting a temp check just to see how well it's going to sell, what it's going to do for them. It's gonna be kind of difficult, man. This is like some hardcore. The hardcore are about it. Like, sure, there've been random people that I've definitely come across that have been like, oh yeah, I rock with Virtua Fighter, because it was like, it made its way around in the arcades here still, like as well. Like the arcade still made its way out here. It's just it did not catch on in terms of the competition out here like it did out in the East, right? Like out in Japan and shit. Major, huge.
It was even at Evo Japan one year, right?
Yeah. And we've gotten legends that are like that are staples now that don't, some people don't even realize have a background in that game. I believe Fudo is one of them. Like Fudo is a VF, like I think I might be reaching. I think he is even a champ in that game in some degree, or he was a very, very high placing player before he was like known for Street Fighter. Like that was where he was making his history at, which is probably insane for some people to know. But yeah, the game has its roots. Revo is just, like I say, it just got announced. It just got announced a couple of days ago. And it's going to be coming in with 19 characters, rollback netcode, of course, the 4K upgrades as well for all the visuals. I think they're just going to get a temp check, get a pulse on things, and then depending on how well this does, maybe we'll see a 6 announcement in the future or some sort of support for it. Because clearly they've been kind of teasing at it for quite some time. And one good thing is like, hey, it's happening, cool, it's coming to the PC, great, rollback, fucking check plus, but it's not 6. It's like, y'all, like 13 years. You could give us at least 6, like, holy shit.
I think the problem is bringing out a 6. The team is probably so focused on doing everything for like a Dragon series, for the Yakuza series in general, that they may not have time. That's why this is probably like a passion project, I would want to say, where they were kind of like, oh guys, we have the opportunity to drop it out on PC. It might, because it did way better than expected when Ultimate Showdown came out not too long ago. So I feel like this is kind of a good. I mean, I'm gonna buy it.
Ago, bro, it's 13 years ago, dude.
Yeah, it feels way less. I'm gonna be honest.
It does. Remember, I said the same thing.
Ultimate Showdown, not Final Showdown.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. You're right.
Final Showdown was 13 years ago. But yeah, no, I think the breaks in between, it's not that bad of a deal. I think it coming out on PC is going to give the opportunity for those who didn't have maybe, you know, a PS3 or PS4, or you played on Xbox or anything like that. Yeah, you could play. I think it was Final Showdown, I think, came out for Xbox, but how many people were playing that game on Xbox?
Yeah, and they don't seem to want to like support it either, because it does not say anything about Xbox release either. So we'll just have to see.
I think that's the best part, is being able to play it on PC with everybody, and I hope they don't make it cost like a $60 game. It's not. I don't think it's a $60 game yet until I see something that says, hey, you put new characters in here and it's innovative, right? So I think if we're paying for the same game, it should be like $30, kind of like how Persona 4 Ultimax came out.
Yeah. So we'll just have to see when we get some more details on it. But at least, hey, we got some love for Virtua Fighter 5. Knocking on wood, hoping for also 6 in the future.
There was an esports championship for it in 2023. Most people probably didn't know about it, but it was like for $10,000 in Japan. Yep. See,
I didn't know about that shit.
Yeah,
I didn't know about that shit. All right. Well, what I do know about though is this ad break that we're about to get into. So we'll be right back after this ad break, guys. Stay tuned. We'll be talking about some Ghostface and the havoc he's been bringing. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, just like Virtua Fighter, we are back, and so is Billy and Stu. Good to know, confirm that it is Billy underneath the mask of Ghostface. We did get that confirmation. Ghostface in MK1 has been out and has been terrorizing in both good and bad ways. Good because I've been watching a lot of streams, including things like Rips Arena lately. And like I was catching, a couple other streamers like Ketchup and Mustard. Those guys probably MK.
Mustard
and ketchup.
Sorry.
Mustard and ketchup. Oh yeah. Sorry. Don't have to yell it. Yeah, my bad.
It's everywhere, man.
It's great.
I know.
I couldn't help it.
It is. But I've been catching streams, just watching. I haven't played the character myself yet. I'm gonna tell you right now, pretty close. Not gonna lie. I'm like really close to actually just getting the season, either the season pass or if I can get it individually. I gotta double check on that. Just for Ghostface. Pretty fun. Already hits my my box of like it's a stance character of some kind, right? That's kind of my degree here.
I think,
but yeah,
just the running sound effect.
The running sound effect is like it's catching me, man. The running to either command grab or you feint or overhead and such. Like there's mix there, but the rest of the community has been able to go online and just wreak havoc. This guy's got combos, man, all over the place. You've got a full butter bar, and also take it with a grain of salt if your opponent also doesn't have breaker. You can get 99% mid-screen combos going with him. What is it? Movado seems to be like the go-to. There are some like sector combos as well, but Movado seems to be like the go-to cameo because of just the utility that character can do with Ghostface is pretty insane. But it's also creating some issues. There's some bans going on right now, or rather, there have been already confirmations that certain sequences with the character will get you banned if you do this in tournament. What I'm talking about are specifically a game bug that actually isn't new to Ghostface, but it's the easiest it's ever been to achieve it through Ghostface. So there is a bug where basically when you actually interact with your opponent and they actually get hit at the same time as like a cameo, it like kind of like hits them. There's like a certain sequence. So it's either a cameo or a cameo projectile. When that happens, it basically nullifies the ability to block for your opponent and it resets the combo. Like it's completely uninteractive. When I mean uninteractive, I mean there's literally nothing that the opponent or yourself, if you get caught into it, can do within the game to stop it, which by definition is unfair, broken, and should not be allowed competitively, right? So the bug has been around for a minute, and it's actually been posted up. People like Splash on X have posted up about it, and kind of just given the example, tagged the developers, right, like Tyler and like 16-bit and such, and from NetherRealms to be like, hey, this is a thing. Like the bug, we already knew it existed, but he's allowing it to be very, very abusable very easily. So basically, the competitive integrity of events are now going to be are going to be getting.
Why haven't they just patched it? I don't understand.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be patched. Like this is not really unheard of from happening.
Yeah. But they are aware. They know.
Yeah,
just go patch it. It's gonna take you longer to not patch it.
It takes time, bro. It takes time. There's some, I forget. I think actually it was Arxis that talked about it, or it might have even been Tekken. It might have been Harada that talked about, when it comes to patching, like there's like a process. Like they could hear about it that day, start the process, but they still have to like program it, QA it, approve it, send it out. That could be a week. And they could be responding that day. That's just an unfortunate like process of doing this. It isn't as simple.
I don't know, man. Riot did it pretty fast for. I'm gonna just hold it there. They did it pretty fast for 2XKO. If something was broken, they needed to be working. All right, I'm just saying.
Much smaller team.
Thank you.
A much smaller team for 2X. Much smaller team for 2X. And not to say it's not a high priority, but it's like I think they just have the availability because it's an alpha. It's not like an actual product that's being out and sold either. Like 2X was just a beta. Like it's beta, alpha labs, whatever you want to call it. It's not, you can't call it the same. This is a
live game.
This is a product. Yeah, because they need to ensure the people that have bought it, like you are not going to fundamentally fuck anything else up, because then you're liable for that, for this actual product that you've been putting out.
I guess.
So the patch went live 6 days ago.
Yeah, it hasn't even been a week. But yeah, we've had tournament organizers such as like Mr. Aquaman from his Coliseum series stating like, hey, these combinations of like Ghostface and like Sector, or Ghostface and Mavado or whatever, like they're not going to be banned. You can't just ban combinations outright. That'd be terrible. But they're going to look at those situations. Like you can't create that uninteractable sequence. That's what'll cause you to just straight up result in a loss. Like it's just bam, clean cut, simple right there. But yeah, like so he's been causing a ruckus, man. But the character itself, from my impressions from watching, the character is pretty good. The character is pretty good. Conversions like crazy. I mean, sure. Once again, when we took a look at them, you need resources. But the buttons, like if you can confirm, and then the Mavado fucking cameo, like is kind of gross. Like he works with several, like Mavado, Scorpion is another one, Sector. Gotta see what else. You know what I'm surprised though? I haven't seen a lot of is Smoke. I thought with Smoke's like change with actually being able to do in the midair smoke teleports and all that to kind of get the mix going. I thought he would actually kind of like the stock would go up a little bit. Seems like my man can't even get out the starting line at the moment.
He, if I'm correct, just still knowing what he can do and what he can't. I think he still has the mix-up issue where he's just hella unsafe going for mix-up, and even the non-committal sometimes with the smoke ability, it's too much. I think there's just characters that play better and do things a lot safer, but get the same type of mix, and I think that's why nobody's really trying to invest into him, because they're like, oh, even if he could teleport in the air, what's the point? Where you have this Scream character who's calling in a buddy, he has the command grabs off the ground and stuff.
I got the schmicks.
I don't know what
I've got the schmicks. I got a knife. I'm a guy with a knife. I'm a dude with a knife.
I think that they do something always right with these extra like horror characters, especially around Halloween time, when most stuff usually comes out previously. But it's for me, Scream, like this character, I think he's just hilarious, man. It fits the MO. It's like how we had, I don't even know if I can even say I didn't enjoy like Rambo and Terminator. I always kind of just enjoy their horror pack characters, because that's what I feel like this game just needs. Like even Alien and Predator, right? That makes sense. Yeah. Rambo, Terminator, I'm like, but this, I'm like, oh, he has the Rambo crawl, right? But I'm not thinking it's the Rambo crawl. I'm just like, that's just the character.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah. I think at first I was like, oh, that's so weird. But you know what? Now seeing him move and how visceral his attacks are and his whole kit is, and how it's just like, you know what? Yeah, you're a dude with a knife. There's a guy with two big ass blades that come out of his arms. Like, you know what? You're all right. You could fit in there, but
I don't know if I've ever told you guys this, but when Tekken 7, what was the Dark Resurrection?
No,
not Dark Resurrection.
5? My bad. 7. What was the arcade?
What was Tekken 7's arcade called? The arcade version.
Retribution?
Retribution, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so,
am I right? Oh my god.
Yes, no, you're right. So when Retribution was still being announced, and was kind of like playable demo stuff, It was at Evo. I think this was a game. I think this might have been like 2017.
That's 16.
16?
Fate of Retribution, where Akuma won. It was Punko, I think.
Yeah. So 2016, I talked to, I don't know how this happened, but ended up sitting down talking to Keats. And it's very interesting because I noticed with this game, if you guys ever notice, Mortal Kombat's considered mature. Obviously.
Yeah. What?
No.
You know, Killer Instinct isn't considered mature?
Good.
No, because Killer Instinct doesn't show blood or anything. They're just like horror.
That's not true.
Wait, where's it show blood at?
So,
it could be teen.
What is his name?
Blood and
what is his
teen.
name? General Ramus, I think it is, right?
General.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
From the Xbox exclusive one?
Yeah. So, when he's in the game, I was talking to Keats. I was like, because I see it in this too now. When
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. When a character, let's say, has a knife or a sword, if they stab in the same spot more than once, it is considered a mature game.
Yeah,
if
you
they
brought that
don't,
up before.
yeah, I think it's like the coolest concept because it's something I just like always think about. I'm like, man, did that character just stab in the same spot? I was like, this is definitely a mature game, even if it was beforehand. But no, it's very interesting because if they didn't want to go the mature route, they wouldn't be able to do this. So
stab me once. Stab me once, shame on me. Stab me twice. Yes, ESRB.
Yeah, I just think it reaches a different audience, right? Because we're older, so
yeah, for sure.
We used to scream, but I think younger audiences know this game.
I think just gameplay wise, it definitely worked out. I think he ended up fitting better than expected, except for the fact that he can create all these resets and basically kill early ladders if people aren't aware of it. Because I'm also trying to figure out, like, man, how are you monitoring all this? Like,
you don't
like because here's the thing, you could be doing early ladders and you could be playing it, and the person on the other side just might not be in the know. They might be starting out, they might not be aware, and then they get hit with it and they're like, oh damn, I'm trying to block. Like, you know what I must have messed that up. That's gonna fucking
crowd
suck.
interaction. So usually, remember back in the day, if a player knew, if somebody in the crowd knew exactly what it was, they would call it out. I think we would see that nowadays still.
Well,
too.
I'm talking about for online tournaments.
Oh, online? No,
yeah,
you should just ban the character.
Offline's no, man. Yo, man, I spent money for this. Fuck that.
No, you better take that somewhere else, bro. Like, unless
Fuck that, bro. I spent money for this. You
yeah,
crazy.
I don't know. It's a weird scenario online because it's I guess most people stream themselves playing, I guess. So
yeah,
it may not be that big of a deal, but I think if you're going into competitive integrity, most people are just like, I'm just not gonna do it. I could probably beat this dude anyway without it.
And it'd be different if you like with Sindel and Sub-Zero. It just, we can't play Sindel and Sub-Zero at that time when it first came out.
Oh yeah, no, there was
a glitch.
Yeah,
but like in this case, it's what can you not call one of the? You can't. It's kind of impossible to, like you said, enforce.
Avoid it.
Yeah. So Ghostface is gonna continue on. We're just gonna have to be vigilant, keep an eye on things. You see something, say something. Don't withhold that shit.
Or if you see Ghostface, mirror match it and do it back. I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't listen to me.
No. Toxicity is the best formula for
be better by being a piece of shit.
DMing.
Did you hang up on me,
Sydney? You thought it was
honestly,
last of me?
I just think, okay, look, I'm just gonna say this flat out. If nobody's seen the Scream movie, just start from the beginning. It is an enjoyable ride all the way up to the very last one, which isn't probably gonna be the last one. But just watch them all. Watch them all.
Three's a mix, but yeah, go for it.
Yeah, you gotta do them all.
All right, man.
So with that, MK1 is not the only one that has a patch coming through that's kind of been a bit of a mishap. I mean, Season 4 has been going out. We've talked, we've played, we've shrugged at some of the things that Dizzy has brought along with her. But one of the things that were just not intended, which thank God some of it got addressed, were just a lot of fucking issues, man. So like between all the unintentional things like Ramlethal's like sword still going off even when you burst, all this, that, when she gets hit. I know that's like the first thing I go to, but that was like the most egregious fucking thing there. That was just like you want to talk about getting punished for just making the right read or making the right move. It's just crazy. There's just been a bunch of other unfortunate bugs that have still been going on that are still prevalent that ArcSys still needs to address in a future patch that hopefully happens before the end of the year, because it'd be terrible for it to continue on, because we have things like I just talked about ramp, but sometimes her swords would actually face the wrong direction. Jacko's servant shoot can sometimes be dash canceled even when it's not coming into contact with a servant. So I think I've seen even some like Jacko infinites because of that. And this ain't no NRS. They're just like, oh shit, like ladder's free is free game, buddy. We're just gonna let shit rock. Dizzy's Ice Field actually still does that weird like crazy acceleration where it's like, if you're Soul on the other side and you decide to command grab like input from full screen, you just boom, like just hit the NOS and all of a sudden you're next to them.
Right?
I think that's
no RC. That's just raw. Like, yeah, it's a weird situation where the timing creates that like crazy high speed movement. That's still in.
I can actually tell you, I think it was just because they didn't expect every specific singular move. I've only played with acceleration and other like Emugen and stuff like that when building stuff. Acceleration could have just affect anything randomly, especially if it's an AoE effect. It's not a part of the character technically. It's touching base with all the different moves. And plus, I think this is a really important. I agree. They do need to patch this with all the new characters that are about to come out that are going to be big staples to the game right now as the first crossover DLC.
But I mean, you're adding a field effect that was not in the game before that you have to add and program to each character and each character's dash,
every interaction, everything.
Yeah, I think that's terrible. It also reminds me of when Steve was put into Smash, how they needed to recreate. And they did it okay, I guess, but they had to recreate every single horde that he could pick up from. Like they had to make every block a pick-upable spot.
Yeah.
Do you think this is also a bit of the cause from the weirdly new thing that they started doing, where you could do a specific move that has momentum, and then you RC it, and then you're like going super fast, and like additionally adding to that, they tried to maybe
it's definitely
copy paste.
It's definitely a case of just not enough data, like not enough of a big enough data sample for the patch. Which once again, it's
how do you tell? You can't test it.
Yeah, it's expected. Yeah, we are the guinea pigs at the end of the day. But the real stride here is how fast are they going to be able to answer? Which I mean, they've already gone ahead and did a hot fix afterwards, right? To fix some, like I said, the more egregious things. But these things still exist and there's still a problem with it. So hopefully ArcSys can put some more efforts in. And the reason I say that is because of the other thing that we're about to talk about.
Real quick. Let me throw a wrench in there. Let me throw a wrench in there for you. How would you feel? How would you feel if they delayed the DLC to make sure that these things got patched first?
Nah,
you can't do that.
No, you don't think so?
Especially with how Steam has recently acted upon DLC being announced or not announced. Like, it's also people that have bought a season pass and are ready for a season pass at a certain time, unless they make an announcement. But they wouldn't make an announcement to. I mean, they could.
Does that take effect now, though? That's the thing. Does it take effect you?
They didn't announce an actual date already, though. They just said the spring and winter, spring, summer, or fall. All you got to do is, call.
Yeah, and on top of that, remember, like adjusting schedules like that is like they have obviously the power to do it, but depending on the timelines, like when their fiscal year ends to where it begins, like maybe they're hoping this DLC is gonna bump things up. Like there's a lot of things to account for versus just going like, oh, from here to here. There's things that definitely need to get cleared. We just talked about things like patches getting cleared and going out. DLC schedules is a whole other fucking can of worms.
Yeah, I just
do not want to mess with.
I would imagine just detrimental patches affecting
what I want them to do. What I want them to fucking do is, now that Team of 3 is out, cool, great, fun, crazy mode, has ranked in it for some reason. And now that they're working on, or the Switch version of the game is out for pre-order at this moment, which I'm like, hey, at first I go, who the fuck's asking for this? But then the other side of it is I'm like, hey, you know what? Get it to a bigger market. Sure, the Switch is everywhere. Not everyone has a PlayStation. Not every kid has a PlayStation, and the game can fly by, pretty well. Like, it's not like the hardest, to render kind of game. I'm still kind of concerned with the Switch being able to power it at 60 frames per second the entire time. But then again, when it's undocked, it is 720, not 1080. But when it's trying to upscale to 1080, I mean, we'll just see how that goes. Excuse me, waiter, please. Guilty Gear at 15 frames. Thank you. But like they're putting their efforts into these other buckets. Now that I'm hoping with this pre-order, I'm like, okay, hey, if the game is like gold, ready to go, maybe now is their time where they can focus more in and take care of A, these fucking bugs that are still prevalent in season 4, but B, the netcode. Please, like you already went through the trouble, and maybe even Team of 3 was the guinea pig to the ranking system. You were just saying to me, fuck, I would let them copy paste that shit because it's already built. Just make it applicable to the single player side, to the actual laddering that people are competing on, right? Like, this is what I'm hoping for from ArcSys once they kind of wrap up the tour and all that. Like, they kind of wrap up the year, because, son, like I
do you want me to throw a wrench?
A Switch version. I get it. Once again, you're
that's my portable.
Like, but the competitor in me, I'm like, bro, like seriously, fix the netcode, because what good is your Switch? Which, by the way, is not gonna have crossplay. It does have rollback, which is great. Won't have crossplay, so we'll never get to play against anyone from the Switch side. So it doesn't even affect the hardcore fan base there in terms of competition. But then B, netcode, please. Like, holy crap! Like, that's like where your bread and butter is at. That needs to be working. We just talked about the standards of what we want in a fighting game, or we're going to talk about that question of the week from last week. One of them is working netcode.
Well, you're going to love this. You're going to love this, because that doesn't matter. Even if they do come out with a Switch version, you know that the PlayStation Portable, right? The very nice thing that you can...
Supposedly.
No. The PlayStation Portal. That's the...
the Portal. I call it the Portable.
Okay. I call it the Portable because of what just happened.
Those are two very different things.
Yeah, I know, but you could call it PlayStation Portable because now you could do streaming services on it. Which, therefore, that's going to make it even worse if somebody's playing Guilty Gear on their little, portal, and they're like, oh, I don't need the PS5 anymore. I could just streamline it to the portal.
Yeah.
So I definitely would agree. Yes, they do need to do that ASAP, because that is doable. Right now, I could just go boot up the portal, go pay for premium, and then start playing Guilty Gear.
That's a niche though. That's a niche market within it.
It's not going to be. It is a $200
how many people here? How many people got a PlayStation Portal in this room right now?
They had no reason for it before.
PS Portal.
Guy. Oh, one. You know why? Because I like to sit on my bed and be lazy, right? But now they've given a service to the Portal, which is basically making it a handheld cloud service that you can walk around with. You don't need to leave your PS5 on anymore.
I'm not fully convinced on cloud service fighting games yet.
I'm not either, but casuals are. That's the biggest thing. It's not about competitors. Competitors won't play on it.
That's
casuals
fine.
Will.
Casuals can, because guess what? As soon as I see that Wi-Fi go to shit, you're blocked. I ain't playing no Wi-Fi warriors. Fuck that. At least they got that right. Don't take that away.
This is gonna be a bit of a hot take. East Coast Guilty Gear is not that bad.
Bad or good?
Bad.
What do you mean?
In terms of servers.
In terms of server stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like, I see a lot of West Coast players having a lot more issues, and that's why the West Coast lobbies I see are a lot more empty. In my opinion,
Yeah,
I don't know if that's the reason.
I haven't really had any issues on my side here on the Europe servers. So.
But somebody I did see, I don't know, it might have been in either my chat or in Chris G's chat. He was playing last week with Learning Dizzy. But
I saw that live. I saw that one live.
It might be an issue with just like, what was it? He said it might just be that this game's had an old netcode or just old sort of rollback issues. Like that they never fixed. It was me and you, I think, talking about that. Like it's still running on the same stuff from the beta.
Did they even design their own?
I don't know.
That's a really good question, because if they didn't design their own, they're just pulling from a system, which I feel like ArcSys would design it because they've done it for other games.
Say yes and no, but they're a Japanese company. They're really and that's why that leads credence to that, because most Japanese developers, they tend to keep things a lot of in-house stuff. The idea of outsourcing or using a product that you're not in complete design and control of is just on a business standpoint, it is a risk, but that's been changing up. And I mean, rollback netcode is an open source protocol. It is not something that is just closed off and you have to buy a license for or anything like that. They can implement their version of it, absolutely, but it wouldn't be behind them to it. And rollback is still relatively, in its infancies. At least for Guilty Gear, because Guilty Gear was one of the ones that were, they were the ones that were pushing for it right during the COVID times, that made it kind of starting that wheel up, right? To make it become the norm. But it could be that as well. But in the meantime, we're just gonna have to wait and see. Hopefully, after this whole Switch release for it, it's done, and they can actually focus on more of the quality of life things that we need, like these lobbies getting fixed up. Because one connection between two people is crazy. I have yet to look since the beta version of it what Team of 3 is looking like right now. When you're going online to play, because that
if there's anybody
maybe
on
we
there.
need to try that again and see if we can connect.
That does not sound like fun at all. 6 connections.
I mean, we couldn't even all 3 of us connect together. So
not together, yeah.
I mean, I think we should see if that's even feasible
Mezza
now.
apparently has no.
Whoa,
Yeah, Mezza's
Just saying, you came on and we were good. We were good before, and you came on. I'm just saying, you know, it is what it
is
is.
not international.
That is not true.
Exactly. All right. So before we get on to the next topic, actually, we were just talking about the last week's episode. Let's take a peek at the polls, because we did talk about Ghostface just not too long ago. Before the break, we asked you guys on the web, on YouTube, on Discord, hey, are you excited for Ghostface in MK1? At the end of the day, you either had a chance to say yes, I like scary movies, or no, it's a dude with a knife. Actually, 63% saying yes. Like I said, I think he fits in. I think it ends up working out. Like, I know there was a lot of hoopla about it early on, but I think between his kit, what he does, and already the controversies he's brought up, I think it's kind of made it a bit fun. It's getting me that close. It's getting me this close to picking it up and going to town. I'll just do the sweaty, just gross stuff with them. That's fine.
Get it on PS5 for now.
No, don't nobody clip that out of context, please. But
it's on sale for PS5
yeah.
right now. This is probably the best time to get it.
There you go. Go peep it out. All right. So speaking of sales, fighting game sales. I don't know if you guys peeped that tweet from Culture Crave. It's kind of been making its rounds where they posted up the highest selling fighting games. I think it's like top 12 actually, because there's definitely more than 10. It's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, it's 12. Because there is a 4-way tie for that last 4 spots. We ended up seeing just a whole slew of games. Speaking of Mortal Kombat, with 2 entries on there, both taking the 8th and the 4th place with MKX. Peak. At 8th place, and MK11 at 4th, actually. 15 million copies. It feels just like yesterday, people were tripping out about MK11 not being... Not enjoying it early on, but like it stood the test of time, man. Y'all didn't know what y'all had till MK1 came through.
You know, I think MK11 is just the marketing and that it had the old song in it. I mean, that's easily that 90s helps. Nostalgia. If you can see, most 90s nostalgia in here is kind of up there, unless you're Smash.
I feel like people want to play it.
Yeah, I was gonna say kind of like the Outlanders here. We've got a couple. Hey, listen. I think we made it pretty clear on the show. We're open to everyone who's playing fighting games, whether it's a platform fighter, arena fighter, Gabe. They exist. There's all kinds of flavors of it. Don't care what you play, as long as you're having fun.
What Street Fighter 2 are they using as a metric, or are they using all of Street Fighter 2?
Yeah, it has to be all. So yeah, Street Fighter 2 did make it on there. It ended up being in 2nd place, 15.5 million copies, sandwiched between Super Smash Bros.
You might even just count the arcades as well.
No, you can't.
You can't.
They don't count.
I'm just saying. That's a lot of quarters.
Super Smash
It is a lot of quarters, and you just had to be there. It was a phenomenon. There's a reason why. Like when Fortnite made its announcements for its collab, what did it reference? It referenced Street Fighter 2. It didn't care about Street Fighter 5. It didn't care about any of that, because that's how much of an impact in the culture that game had. So, it still has its place there. I think it still has top 10, maybe top 15 for all of Capcom's game. At a minimum, top like 11 or 12, I want to say, in all of Capcom's history of games. I wonder
if they counted the one for Switch, That came
with
an early
like
Switch game.
The Hyper Challengers or whatever, yeah.
I'm curious about Turbo that came out on PS3.
HD Remix?
Or was it? Yeah, HD Remix. Was that
HD
PS3?
Remix? I think that was, it was PS3, Xbox 360
Yeah, I mean, if they count that too, because that was like a big resurgence.
Oh, yeah, that was big because it was kind of the earliest, online version that we got, or to the masses anyway, outside of like Anniversary Collection and such on these very weird versions on really, really bad network. But Yeah, between them two, or Street Fighter 2 is between the two, taking the second spot. Nice. We have Super Smash Bros. I cannot actually read it. Oh, it's the Wii U one.
It's DS and Wii.
Ultimate.
Yeah. Oh, the DS. Oh, no.
you talking about
That's
the one below?
Ultimate's number one. Right
Sorry.
below that is the Wii U one. But then Ultimate taking it at 34 million, more than double. I mean, when you have everybody, literally everybody, you just cater to everyone.
I mean, DS and Wii U is kind of cheating because those two platforms.
Yeah, they
But
shouldn't
you
do that.
But you could.
But
play
then Street Fighter
between them.
5 has like 5 versions though. Come on,
we
we
don't
gotta let it
count
go.
that.
We gotta let it go.
No,
we gotta
no,
let it
no.
go. I'm letting it go. But yeah, so with that, I mean, those are your top killers. I mean, at the bottom, like it's still not shy numbers. Remember, Mortal Kombat X is just at number 8, while we have the other 4 that are tied. Tekken 5. Let me give you one more. That one we'll get right. Tekken 5. 10 million copies at 9th place, tied it up. I thought my eyes were off. I would have sworn I saw 6 for a second. I was like, no, that says 5. This is a small picture. Street Fighter 5 tied with that, 10 million. Kind of insane, kind of wild. 10 million being the magic number that they want Street Fighter 6 to hit right now. Mind you, Street Fighter 6 is currently at, I think by last reporting, I believe Street Fighter 6 is at over 4 million copies sold.
It's
So by year 2, over 4 million copies. It's on track. If they give it the 5-year gap, it'll clear it.
It feels
It'll clear
weird. It feels like it should have been higher already because of the way the game released was really, really good. But like even
It's only been 2 years.
yeah, but even that in Tekken 8, like it just feels like it should be higher numbers. But you gotta always remember
But
it's fighting
look
games, and
at-
these are high numbers. Just in
And
general.
yeah, exactly. These are those numbers are still good that they're selling now. These numbers are some of these are in decades going, right? Like they are just on another level, but
'Cause
that's
what?
because of the longevity of some of them.
Most are like projected through like, yo, let's just get to like by year like 2, like 2 million, or
Yeah,
like year
exactly,
year
like-
3, 2 million, 3 million. So
Yeah.
Mind you, these are all sequels except for one game, and that's Dragon Ball Fighters. But again, they're all IPs. Yeah, they're all IPs with something happening before them.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's also timing. Like the timing is funny on multiple of these is kind of wild. What I'm trying to understand is how far does it get for like some of these other modern ones that are still around, like Guilty Gear. Like I'm pretty sure, like Guilty, I think they got as of July of 2024, they got over 3 million. Not bad.
gonna tell
Not
you
bad.
now.
That is the most mainstream a Guilty Gear has ever been to. Like that's a big fucking jump.
I'm gonna tell you now, they caught us off guard with Brawl. Okay, they tricked us. That's how that got up that high. Oh, 100%. Brawl was
I was
considered-
Brawl a trick.
Oh,
What do you
because
mean trick? You
Brawl
saying
was
that
the one with
because
the trick
game was-
mechanic.
Yeah, because
Oh,
it
the
was
trick
bad.
mechanic. Oh,
I
yeah,
understand, but Brawl's release was huge.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah.
Yes, because we were like, this is the next generation of Super Smash. Where we're excited.
Yeah.
We're
I
happy.
mean,
This
we
is like
had
Super Smash
online
2.
play. You had a new Brawl, or just a
Agreed.
new Smash Bros. You had Snake. You had a huge story mode. You had Sonic. The IPs at that time just blew your mind.
Yeah,
and I
until I
mean,
broke that
for
disc.
Smash Wii U and 3, wow.
Yeah,
I mean, okay.
I broke the hell
That's
out of that
something else.
disc. Trip mechanic is not a real thing. Don't ever add it to a game, even if it's a party game. You want people to hurt each other. That's really
But
what
still,
it is.
I mean, you
But
still
still.
haven't played me, but all right.
All right.
But still, regardless,
Sorry, I just
Dragon
wanna
Ball
bring it up.
Fighters is not the only one. It actually ended up tying with Xenoverse 2, which I thought that was an interesting one because Xenoverse 2 still getting content to this day. Like
That's
it's still
not
getting
surprising.
patches.
You know-
it's 10 million. Like it went bar for bar.
I've got to be honest though. There's this guy I know who went to buy a Dragon Ball game for his wife. I think he meant to buy Fighters and got Xenoverse. And he's like, when can I get to the fighting stuff? And I'm like,
Who's gonna tell
so
him?
yeah, I know. And that can probably happen. That's why there's 10 million units that went over there and not
you
to
think-
Fighters.
the wrong game.
Yeah.
Yo, wrong game, dog. Wrong game.
I'll be honest, Xenoverse 2 has been around for quite some time, and people boast about it like it's. I have part one, and every time I boot it up, I'm just like, well, time to turn it off because I know Xenoverse 2 is better, and
Oh, yeah.
I should buy it. But every time it goes on sale, I'm just like, Nah, dude, I'm not gonna spend any time with this game. I already have like fighters and stuff.
See,
but
mm-hmm.
there are people who still love that concept of being able to be freeform moving and don't want to play the new stuff. They like Xenoverse 2 a lot.
Anybody see that Android 19 footage yet?
Stop it. I was a Dragon Ball stan for a while, and I remember we bought Raging Blast. It was more like Raging Ass. And then we also had, we bought Dragon Ball. I was really adamant. I'm like, no, we have to buy it. We have to buy it. We bought the Street Fighter Dragon Ball. It was like Dragon Ball made by the same dudes that made Street Fighter. Was there Dragon Ball Super? Yeah. Dragon Ball Z, like Super, and it was like a fighting game style. We didn't like it because we weren't into competitive fighting at the time. And it was like, oh, okay, this is nice. Frieza throws little, zooms, but we're used to Budokai and the flashiness of it. So like, that and it was hit or miss. But like now, I mean, I can't see myself buying any Sparking or Xenoverse. I don't know. I mean, the IP's strong, but will Sparking hit this list? Baby. I don't know, man.
I want you to challenge yourself, Gabe. I want you to challenge yourself. I want you to go back and play Dragon Ball Final Bout GT.
I did, and I love that game, and I still play it.
It does not age well at all.
It ages perfectly.
So bad.
That game does not age well, though.
Dude, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I will 100% support the game. I love it.
Son, and you're talking to a guy that imported. I imported that bitch. You're talking to a guy that imported that shit in the 90s. I put my fucking parents' credit card number on a weird website. To this day, I was like, man, I think we might have gotten scammed. No, I actually got a mod chip and everything.
We risk getting.
I'm telling you, that shit did not age like fucking fine.
There's footage of me playing Kyle at localhost and mashing the hell out of the game. The game, yes, it's bad, but dude, it's still fine. Like for its time, it was doing what we wanted it to do.
Yeah,
and for its time. Yeah, but you know what's worse? Ultimate Battle 22, which when you play,
hold on. That game nobody talks about. Okay, that game never happened. Stop. All right, we know it was bad.
We know Nintendo ones were actually kind of all right, where the Mugen characters come from. But Super Final Bout, don't ever come at Final Bout. If you don't know how to deal with meteor smashes, that's your fault.
The only reason why it's good is because of the music. All right? Don't sit here and tell me otherwise.
No. That's not how it works. You just say the music is better than the game. Because the same thing could be said about Final Fantasy VII, is the music is better than the game.
Damn. All right.
So, well, and guess what? They both came out the same year. So what do you want to say? Like, most of those games came out the same time, and look, like they have better, like Xenogears is better than both games. So like, and it had a fighting game in it. So like,
look, I'm still gonna say Ultimate Battle 22. I definitely agree, never existed. It shouldn't have been made.
Right, but the same argument can be. Wait. No. This is fighting game related. What about Sagas? Did you play Sagas?
Hey, we don't talk about Sagas, bro. Stop.
Why can't we talk about Sagas?
It's trash.
No,
order in the court. Yo, order in the court. We're going to have to fucking shove this. Holy shit. Who would have guessed Dragon Ball is going to bring so much fucking discourse to fighting
Sagas
games?
Sagas is the one that was on Sega Saturn and PlayStation, right? With the 3 characters, and then you had to mash and stuff.
No.
Fly around.
That was not Sagas.
Oh, then you're thinking I'm talking about the one that was for like
actual Sagas.
No, you're thinking about the one from GameCube. I know, Dre.
Yeah,
I know. We're kind of close, but
we kind of way close.
Yeah, there's another game that is sort of the same, but it was like, anyway.
I know which one you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay. All right, let it rock, fellas. Awesome. Y'all can take this off the stream, off the podcast. Holy shit. I would not have even said Dragon Ball if I knew this was what was going to happen. God damn. All right. What you guys let us know which one's the best Dragon Ball fighting game out there that isn't Final Bout GT. So Static has some static to send out to, for next week's episode. So fighting games, that was just a cool little tidbit I just wanted to throw in there. Did not expect it to go this way. Let's say everyone, let's take a second. We're gonna take a quick break. Everybody just pop a sensu bean. We're gonna be right back after this quick ad break. Don't go anywhere. Be right back. Okay, we good? We out of the hyperbolic time chamber? We're chilling? Like, years gone by?
It's actually Dragon Ball Z Legends. That's the one.
Yes, that one's fun. That was a great game.
They're not over it yet. Holy shit.
Welcome back, guys.
Since 1997 to like now, there's been like over 27 Dragon Ball games. Sorry, I just gotta say
a lot.
And I will not play any of all of them. But go on. We're moving on.
We're moving on, fellas. Holy crap. Oh my God. No, what we're moving on to is a quick question of the week that we had last week that we wanted to bring up. So last week we got to talking about the kind of the baseline, the standards for fighting games nowadays, right? That you kind of see like that each of us really had for a game that would come out. For example, for me, like crossplay is like a big thing. I think crossplay should be the next thing that is like basically a standard. Like it shouldn't even be asked. Things like this, the Strive Switch port could benefit from something like that, right? Well, we asked you guys, and we got a couple answers here. This is coming out from our Discord. So Gingerphil said, character customization. That one's making its kind of way back with things like City of the Wolves, right? Where we're getting complete color customization there. In terms of the color, I'm talking about like the sprites or the actual effects itself. We kind of are getting that with like Mortal Kombat as well, right? It's been a thing since 11 or even since Injustice 2, really. Like you've had all the gear and all the really cool, all the cool kind of cosmetics you can add to it. Have there been really any other fighting games that have been major on it? I'm not really adding. Should we count Battle Hub for Street Fighter 6? Like your custom characters, that count?
Yeah, because it's part of the game. Why not?
Okay, all right. We'll give it that.
Because people do use it and they play it in the arena show. Sure, why not?
Okay.
It's not competitive, or it's not because it's still visually appealing to the casual audience. I mean, some people still have like little fun tournaments in there, so why not?
Soul Calibur is probably still one of the biggest examples.
Of course,
that. Like
wrestling games.
Yeah,
huge.
I mean,
absolutely, wrestling games for sure.
Day of Reckoning one. You would go on GameFAQs and like find out how to make them, and they'd have all of the stuff to do. If I bring mine up, you've got Optimus Prime, the Joker, Kratos. We made everybody.
I'm actually curious because like I know it's not a normal, typical fighting game, but like UFC, right? The UFC fighting games, I'm pretty sure you used to be able to make your own character. I don't know how
you used to be able to like face scan yourself.
Yeah.
And shit too.
So like I don't know. I feel like some of it's missing, but I don't know. I think it's more the ones that have bigger IPs that are tethered to something. If they don't put enough customization, they're putting very minimal, which is kind of sad.
Yeah. But having that as a norm, I can get behind that. Big Papa Pump states button layout customization.
I think
that was an interesting one. Are we just talking about literally like macroing wherever kind of deal? Like I thought we already did that.
There was a game that used to be able to allow you to change. So like Pokken is a good example. You used to be able to change like your controller's inverse, everything. You used to be able to put movement on buttons.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Well, some people play upside down on their controllers.
Yeah, that was actually
the classic crossing.
We actually did a challenge like that, which was really cool, where we would mix up people's buttons, and go into that would be the tournament.
You hit them with the Guitar Hero classic.
Yeah, so you get to choose each other's buttons.
PlayStation has the ability in the settings to do so.
Really? To override?
Yeah. It was in PlayStation 4.
I know with like the GP like 2040 like customization, like the boards, the universal boards for like fighting game sticks or leverless controllers that are out there. That's an open source software. Like you can do that like on the hardware side. Like you don't even have to be in the game. You can actually like do it on the hardware side to multiple degrees. But like having it that the game does it on the software side, like I'm down for having that more customization. You know how people can play.
I think that'd be safer, just because like with being like leverless, like you could hold back and then forward and causes some things if it's not
you need to have the SOCD cleaner.
Yeah,
for that,
I mean
right?
I have that.
It creates neutral or it overrides, but like competitively it needs to be neutral, right?
But that's what I'm saying. Like instead of somebody
that's
having
on the
to
hardware
customize,
side.
Instead of them customizing, I think that'd be really nice for in game.
Also, this state crossplay, and then Gengaman says crossplay is a big one for me. I need to be assured that I can play with friends and that the online matchmaking has some life in it. Exactly. I am right there behind you on that. That's a big component for me. Like you want the biggest amount of community, you want the biggest player base. It keeps the game alive. It's a pain, Static, when you go online, say with something and you can't find someone to play with, right? Like the game is otherwise dead. There's just doesn't matter if your rollback is good. If there's nobody to receive that connection on the other side,
hey, do you want to play? And it's like 2 a.m. and you're like,
but I also play here on the Xbox. Like, I'm going to bed.
I would like to pose something. What if if the game is really, really known, really, really good, you just put it on one damn console. Just put it on one console, and then release it later down the road.
You mean exclusive?
Yeah, sure. Like
Final Fantasy 7 problem.
Take like a Guilty Gear, right? Strive, put it strictly on PS5, PS4, have them play it for about 2 years, drop it on PC.
Sony better cut a nice ass check because because unfortunately on the other side you're limiting.
Well, I'm saying
it was Street Fighter 5. I remember. I remember Capcom was getting that Sony money for a minute, but it's like that limits you, unfortunately. Xbox, not everyone has a PlayStation. Not everyone has that capability to getting one.
You limit yourself to not even having a playtest. You remember they had the playtest out there, and then they had to restart the game from scratch.
Well, look at Mortal Kombat 1. They said they were going to add crossplay. How long did that take? Did they even do that? Did they even finish?
Yeah.
But how long did it take? Let's be real. You know what I mean? Like it was over 6 months. That's for sure. It was actually over a year.
At this point, if you expect Mortal Kombat to have a complete game at its launch,
I expected a triple A company to provide that when they say it.
Well, that's my
thing.
No,
they're a fighting game developer. Come on, man.
Remember, they have there's a lot of different parenting companies above that. So it's like WB Games to NetherRealm Studios to maybe a studio,
whoever they outsource to. Because sometimes they outsource things. Right. So we had another one. We had another one from Jester J. Crossplay is important to me. I play on Xbox. The fighting game scene here is smaller. If a game I'm interested in doesn't have crossplay, I probably won't find people to play against online.
Damn.
See what I mean?
Buy a PS5 or a PC.
No, it's an accessibility thing. Sometimes it's not that easy, dog. That's all they got, and that's all. Maybe that's what they got for Christmas. Maybe that's what they got as the gift. Like, everyone's in a different situation. So
you probably have a whole lot of like you said, a library of Xbox games. I know a guy who's just an Xbox guy. He never wanted to go to PlayStation.
Exactly.
Bro, sell all of it and just join the PC Master Race.
I know a guy who's named me, like myself, who recently just $60 went out of his bank account to pay for Microsoft Online, and I was like, "Well, gold membership, I guess." I have an Xbox One sitting there, but I don't play it. So
PC Master Race. I don't have to play to get on the internet.
I will always say, if people really struggle that much with the crossplay mentality, and I mainly direct this to Microsoft players. And I understand there's not much cross-playing for fighting games. Maybe it's best to go to the PC and maybe sacrifice the ability to play on Xbox, because they do have the Microsoft Live stuff on PC where you can at least communicate, right?
It's changing. It's definitely changing up.
There's just like this ecosystem that I think they can slightly. We still have to, as consumers, move and adjust. I think if we're just like, add crossplay to everything, it's like, well, we are creating better services for you guys to use on other platforms.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's it for the question of the week. Appreciate you guys for tuning in on that one and supporting and giving us your feedback on that. We appreciate it. That is actually going to hit us up on time. We appreciate you guys hanging up with us for another episode of Double Tap. Make sure to follow the show at Double Tap FGC on all social media platforms, as well as on YouTube. We can check out the video version of this podcast right there with some clips as well to accompany the discussion. Make sure to follow my awesome host here, Meza at Meza FGC, of course, on Twitch. I keep messing it up, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Twitch.
Back on it, yeah.
Cool. Only on Twitch. What you doing?
Basically, still finishing off tournaments for the Virtua Fighter Online. We're doing our last tournament soon, and then for points, and then we're doing our championships, which is, if you want to see how it's done, you want to see how presentation's done for a fighting game, one fighting game, this is the way. You'll see.
There you go. And then Static Gorilla at Static Gorilla on all social media platforms, as well as on Twitch. What you got going on, homie?
So this week, TNS is doing a random all tournament, probably because it is the holidays, so they don't want to play an actual main tournament. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And Survivor Series this weekend. So yeah, wrestling stuff. And nothing else really. I mean, if I find some time, I'll stream a game.
There you go. Beam it up for some Marvel. You can follow me at CrashTag, of course, on Twitter or X. But make sure once again to check us out at Double Tap FGC. Guys, we are taking submissions for community segments and questions or topics you want to talk about on this show. Make sure to hit us up on all socials, as well as on our email, doubletap@mash.gg. Once again, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube. We've got some stuff cooking for y'all. It's going to be there. Make sure to follow. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to hit the bell icon and check out the new videos when they get posted up there. We appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. And if you haven't already, make sure to join the Discord, doubletap.gg/Discord. Join our awesome community. Check out our polls, as well as our community question of the week that we'll be posting up each and every week for the episode. They'll be live there, as well as all those socials. In the meantime, That's going to be it for us this week on this episode of Double Tap. I've been Crash. That's been Static. That's been Meza. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yep.
Peace.